Every choice we make is a vote for the kind of world we want to live in. The products we buy, how we spend our time, the companies we support. This is the ChicoBag podcast. Welcome. This is where we talk about or talk with the people doing the hard work, doing the meaningful work of making the world a little better than they found it. So let's get into it. Every year, roughly 11 million tons of clothing ends up in American landfills. Most of it's still wearable. And today's guest looked at that reality and decided to do something about it. Dave McLaughlin, he's the executive director of Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet in Reno. That's in Nevada. Over 800 people walk through their doors every month to get the clothing they need at no cost. And in 2024, they gave away over $1.2 million worth of clothing. And they're now heading the road with a mobile micro closet, taking clothing directly to the people that are in need of clothing. So, Dave, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Andy. I really appreciate it. That was a very kind and generous introduction. Thank you.
You're welcome. So you're doing great work. How did you get into this? How'd you get started?
Well, my background wasn't in clothing, giving it away, right? So my background, I was actually a pastor for years and did all sorts of stuff in ministry. And then one day, we did not disagree in the church where I was at, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, uh, I have this place. It'll be an in-between gig. They're not doing well. They'll probably close soon. All sorts of stuff." He said all that. And I was like, all right, fine. I'll do an in-between job until I get something else, right? Well, came here. The first day I was here, a gentleman came in. He had blisters on his face. He looked rough, man. It was bad. Didn't smell great. Uh, Clothes were torn up, right? I was sitting at the front counter and he said, "Sir, can I get a blanket?" And when he said that, it hit me right upside the head. I knew that this was important. What we were doing here at Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet was important in that moment. I don't have to worry about a blanket. I don't think you have to worry about a blanket, right? But
No.
as far as an organization, we've been around for 28 years. So I'm
Yeah.
not, I've been here now for 4 years. So I thought this was going to be an in-between gig until we figure out something else, right? And then now we're here. Now I've been here for 4 years. It's interesting how that stuff happens sometime, right? So,
Yeah.
so as an organization, it started with two families that just saw a lot of clothing waste happening and
Yeah.
seeing people that need clothes. So anytime we have clothing, every donation we get, we give away for free. So nothing is charged here. It's always free. People go out of their way to donate to us because of how free it all is, right? And they know that we give it away for free to people that need it most. Beyond that, too, as a green cause, we also are partnered with Big Brother, Big Sister. They have a program where they recycle things down to the core, and that's like stained or ripped up clothing, those kinds of things. And so we're a very green initiative. We give them our torn up stuff so they recycle it, and we give away clothing that could end up in landfills. I think the last statistic I saw as far as textiles being thrown away was like 4 million textiles thrown away every hour. That's wild, right?
It's
Just in America. That's
yeah,
wild.
it really is incredible. And we're the stuff's a lot of as it's ending up in a landfill, and even the stuff that is ending up getting donated. There's more clothes than what people can do with, and
Right.
I'm so glad that you're finding a good use for the clothing, but we really are need to change our relationship with clothing. Like it's just so cheap, so cheaply made as well that we just go out and buy it. There was some God, I forgot who it was, some famous athlete was just buying underwear and not washing it. He would just buy new underwear. He would just that's what he did.
Wow. Yeah, well, it is. It is. We do need to change our relationship with clothing. I really do believe that, and you're absolutely right. So at that point, I didn't lead it at the organization
Yeah.
4 years ago. I was the general manager, and I wasn't so sure the organization would live at that point. And our board of directors at that point wasn't so sure the organization was going to live. So a little bit after that, the board came to me and said, "Dave, we're going to be closing it down. We can't do it anymore." There's no way. And I said, absolutely not. This has to continue. So my wife and I talked to my wife and we skipped a paycheck. We're like, let's just keep going forwards because this is so important. And I just started making phone calls with everyone in town and built a great board of directors and got some great donors behind us in what we were doing. And now we are where we are today. Like you said, we're helping that 800 people per month and launching the mobile micro closet. We actually just hired our mobile micro closet manager, and we're going to have, and that's going to be a big project. I know you probably want to talk about that more later, and that's great. But I just wanted to kind of showcase where we were
Yeah.
from almost
Yeah.
dying to where we are now. So it's
That's
awesome to see that.
amazing. So a lot of the people listening to this, are change makers. They might want to replicate what you're doing in other parts of the country. How do you sustain yourself? So you were at the brink of failing and now you're thriving. Like what was the difference?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily use the word thriving, right? Because we're a nonprofit. It goes like this. So
Yeah.
I think for us here, our success is really, and I know this sounds cheesy. I'm sorry, it sounds cheesy, but it is cheesy. It's our volunteers.
Yeah.
And we have 35, sometimes 40 volunteers. If you include all our micro closets, we have like 5 micro closets in the community. And if you include all that, it is those people. Those are the people donating financially, donating their time, and making these things happen because they're the ones that are the backbone of the organization. I mean, 2.5 staff. That's what we have. 2.5 staff. It takes 40 plus volunteers to be able to distribute 1.2 million in 2024. And this year, or this last year, 2025, we did $1.4 million worth of clothing for free. And
Wow.
so, I mean, it's the volunteers that are generous, that are sorting the clothes, that are making these things happen. And I know most nonprofits will say that. They'll say, "Oh, it's our volunteers that make it happen." But really, our budget's not very big. And we distribute a lot of clothing to people in need because of the generosity of the volunteers.
Great. So the volunteers, allow you to have low labor costs. So what about just your fixed costs like rent and electricity and all that? How are you covering all that?
Mostly volunteers. Volunteers will donate financially to make
Just
this happen.
so these are
And
just individual everyday people donating money
right,
to
we don't
help
have.
support the cause.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. We don't have any big federal grants or anything. It's all very. I mean, we do get grants. I'm not saying we don't, but it's always private foundations and stuff. But if you look at our budget, the majority of our funding comes from individuals that just care about the community.
Yeah.
So it is just that personal relationship that they have with the organization.
So tell me about the why. Like, why is this important? Why do people care? Why are people spending their time and donating their money? Like, you know, tell me a little bit more about that.
So I'm sure you've seen the what is it, the SPCA commercials with Sarah McLaughlin, and you see the puppies that are sad and
Uh
stuff
huh.
like that, and makes you want to
Yeah.
take care of those puppies, right? That's kind of what we showcased was people that need support and us showing that we're actually helping them with their donations with what we're doing, right? Because it's a very tangible thing. I mean, like I said at the beginning, I've never had to worry about a blanket. I just have a
Yeah.
blanket. So to be able to have those stories, I mean, clothing is not our business. Truly, it's not. Clothing is not our business. Our business is helping that person get to the next level. The human being that we're able to support is our business. So I mean, you could do all sorts of avenues. Food banks do food, right? Uh,
Yeah.
Different resources like one of our partners, Eddie House locally here, they help homeless youth. And we help support the clothing piece. And the key in all of that, and I say this all the time on our show, is collaboration. Collaboration. Work with as many people as you can. Figure out a way. If I'm doing clothes, Eddie House doesn't need to be doing clothes. They should be doing
Yeah.
helping homeless youth and housing them, right? Um, the food bank is doing food. I shouldn't be doing food. So let them do the food and let's all work together to help the individual client so they can very specifically get what they need and get up on their feet and have hope and dignity. Crazy thought, right? But clothing is an identity, as you guys know at ChicoBag. Clothing is an identity piece, isn't it? Like it helps you
Yeah.
feel better about yourself when you have clothes that you get to pick out, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
someone else wrote an article on us recently. Someone threw underwear at someone on the street, just threw underwear out of their cart. It was nice, it was clean, but the guy said, I had to throw it away because it wasn't my size and I have no
Yeah.
identity in that, right? So it's like saying someone could come in here and there's studies that show that if someone picks out their piece of clothing, chances are it's not going to end up in the river, right? So that's
Yeah.
that's the why is people matter. People matter.
Yeah. So giving people the opportunity to shop, gives them, more, I mean, it gives them the choice, obviously, and it's a more dignified thing to do than just to receive a bag of stuff, castaways, right? And I'm just thinking of the idioms, that we have in our language, like dress for success. That's I guess points to, your point that, when you're dressed and you feel good, it really changes your outcome. It changes the way you present yourself, the way you feel. I know when, I get dressed up, and I'm wearing something that I feel good in, like I exude a different energy.
Oh,
And I see the world a
absolutely.
little differently. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
me
think
me
it's,
too.
yeah. So it's great. So I know that one of your requirements, your only requirement is that the person has an ID. What's the rationale behind that requirement?
So it doesn't have to be a government issued ID. It can also be in Reno. We have these things called clarity cards, which the
Uh-huh.
local CARES campus, which is our shelter here, distributes. So they're very fairly easy to get for people in need. But what we found was we had a point in time where we didn't have barriers and we just passed out vouchers and everyone could get whatever. What happened was people would take advantage of that and we were not honoring the people's donations here. And so when we're able to have a system, we have an in-base computer system that's not even connected to the internet very intentionally to protect people's information. And and so someone couldn't hack into it even if they wanted to. But we collect very basic information for our donors and also to make sure we're keeping our clients, the people we help, accountable, right? We want to keep them accountable. Um, Coming every 30 days. Now we start to recognize some of these clients because some of these clients are the same. Not all of them. Some of them come
Mhm.
once, twice a year. Some of them come every, 60 days, 70 days, those kind of things. That happens sometimes. So we do get to know some of them, which is great because we're providing that hope and dignity. And maybe we didn't have their size jeans the time they came before, those kinds of things, right? So what that does is it just puts a little bit of accountability on our client so they're able to then uh, get the clothing that they need and it gives us information that we can pass on to our donors like hey we helped this many veterans this month or we helped um, this many children this month those kinds of things, right? So it
Yeah.
helps us with data and it also helps keep the client accountable.
So yeah, so they only can come, every 30 days what is what you said, and there's so
Mhm.
many pieces they can get, in that interval, right?
Yeah, so many pieces, and it's, but it's a lot. I'll tell you what, it is over $200 worth of items at thrift store prices. If anyone's curious, they can visit our website. All the items that a client can get is on there on getclothes.org. It's
Is that
quite a
your
bit of
website,
items, though.
getclothes.org?
That's it. That's it.
That's a great
Getclothes.org.
website. Yeah.
Thank you. I bought the domain myself, so I was surprised it was
That's-
available, to be honest.
yeah, it's
But
a great domain.
yeah, thank you. It is. We give them the most out of anywhere in town you can get clothes, period. And I've seen a lot of different organizations that have done similar things. It's really most of them, and not trying to disparage any other organizations. We love the organizations we collaborate with, um, but a lot of times it's 5 items. 5 items is an outfit. It can be an outfit, but
Yeah.
we give 20, 30 items to each client. So just because we have such a high volume, the people in our community really know us and they go out of their way to be able to donate their clothing to us because they care about what we do.
That's great. So tell me about your client base. It sounds like some people are coming in. They need a blanket. And I imagine there's people that are working, trying to make ends meet. They need something for an interview, or to for a special occasion, perhaps that they just don't have in their budget. Is that the other end of the spectrum of your clients?
100%. We have lower income families. We have individuals looking for jobs. We have people that just need a little extra hand up that much. People that have jobs that
Yeah.
just need a little something extra, and which is great because I mean, I've had some people say, "Well, if they have a job, they should be able to get their own clothes." I'm like, not necessarily. Like things are hard, and why do you care? Like, it's their clothing that are donated from people that could have been either sold or thrown in a landfill. Like, why do you care if they need it or not? Right. The reality is with those people that may, I mean, with any system, those people that
Yeah.
take advantage of the system or whatever, the majority of the people we're helping, I'd say 90% of the people need what we're doing. Need what we're doing. Children that get bullied in school because they don't have clean clothes or their clothes have holes in them. I mean, kids are mean, you know that? They're not very
Oh
nice
yeah.
sometimes.
Oh, I remember. I remember. It was ruthless. Didn't have the right lunchbox or whatever it was. It was. I remember that. Um. So yeah. Speaking of kids, it's like kids grow out of clothes so fast. They're hardly used before they're too small. And when you have a family, my daughter just went through a growth spurt, and we basically have to replace her wardrobe. It's a huge undertaking, very expensive, and frustrating. So it's great, that you have those services for families as well.
Yeah, no, it is it's awesome to be able to help everyone at any time and really work hard to make sure that that individual's served. So I like I said, there we get so much clothing here and we're able to get to the people that need it for free, which is it's a privilege to be able to do that. It really is. And it's an honor so that the community supports us and makes this happen because without the community there is no Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet. And it really is important to be able to help the whole family because that provides hope and dignity for the entire family. And sometimes we have people that walk in, they're a little embarrassed that they have to be here or whatnot, right? But our volunteers do an excellent job making them feel welcome and being kind to them. You know, a kid walks in, sometimes we'll give away a nice little plushy toy or something that was donated. The idea is how can we inspire people to, live another day, to fight another day, to be able to be even beyond that, inspire them to become difference makers, to become more. And we hear those stories all the time here. People that shopped here that had literally nothing. And then now they're successful members of society where they're able to have a job, to be able to help even more people. I had one person, I don't want to name who it is, and I'm not going to say the profession because I will blow them up because they're now pretty prominent in the community. But at one point, they were the lowest of lows. They had nothing. They didn't know what they were going to do. They came here for clothing for a job interview that they could look clean, feel clean, be clean in, and just have a little hope and dignity. And they got the job, and now they're a prominent person in our community that's helping so many people. And those are the kind of stories that come out of this place because it's about providing that little bit that helps. And beyond that too, which is why I say collaboration is so important. Beyond that, even vision of just even helping that individual that walks through our doors, the collaboration piece matters because someone needs food, someone needs a connection to a ride, a free bus pass, someone needs those things. All those pieces come together to serve that overall client so that client can become a difference maker. And we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen more than once. And so it's awesome to see that. It's awesome to be a part of that. And even if it didn't happen, I still think it's a good thing to do to keep clothes out of landfill and to close someone that could be freezing on the street. It gets cold here in February. I'll tell you that much. February, March, it gets
Yeah.
cold here. And we get a lot of snow sometimes. And there are people literally dying on the street because they don't have the clothing they need. That's crazy. That shouldn't even be happening. in a place where
It,
we literally throw away 4 million textiles every hour. That doesn't even make sense.
it really doesn't. And yeah, there's some quote about, you can measure how advanced society is by how they treat their, their poorest, or, in the community. And and what you're describing to me is just, it's getting back to the idea of a tribe or a community where, we take care of each other. Where, when we see somebody that, needs a hand, like, we don't tell them to, get their priorities straight. We help them. And it's refreshing to hear the work that you're doing, because the narrative in the media and in the political environment is just this kind of beating down of people that just need a helping hand to get out of their current situation and into something better, which will make all the difference. So I applaud you. So tell me about these micro mobile closets that you're running.
So I know it's confusing. There's a lot of words with all these different things. I apologize for that. So if I had to put 3 buckets, right? So we have 3 buckets.
Yeah.
One, the main bucket that kind of like, we have some holes at the bottom. It's filled with water and it's going into these other buckets, right? So we
Yep.
have 2 other buckets. Main bucket that has all the water right now is our main location here where I'm at, where
Yep.
it's the store location. It's big. We have a warehouse piece in the back, all sorts of clothes. We have like 500,000 pieces of clothing within our facility at any given time. And then so that's, spraying down to the other 2 buckets. The other 2 buckets, one is our micro closet expansion project,
Hmm.
and the other bucket is the mobile micro closet project. The
Okay.
micro closet expansion project, that one we have partnerships with other nonprofits. So one is the shelter downtown. There are micro closet. Sorry, I even got myself tripped up for there a minute. That's our micro closet partner because they have a physical location where
Gotcha.
we give them clothes and then they distribute to their clients. And then we also have one at Eddie House. And also a closet there, Bristlecone Family Resource Center. One in Carson City, which is another city, a little south of Reno, and then
Yep.
we have one at Circle Life Guest House. And so we have all these micro closets, right?
Yep.
So that was a big project that we had in 2025, and it was successful. We were awarded a grant for it, all sorts of things. Now this new bucket that we just put here, there's not a lot of water in it yet. This is our mobile micro closet program, right? This one is a new program where we want to refit a shuttle bus, and we've already received half of the donations needed to make this work. But we want to be able to have an emergency response vehicle, so we're able to go and be a part of things up in when there's fire victims up in Northern California or those kinds of things. We want to be able to send our mobile micro closet unit up there, as well as going alongside some of our partners at the high schools to help some of the lower income high school students. They've already built a relationship with these high school students that need a little extra support. So
Hmm.
we'll be doing that. We'll put Starlink on it, iPads. We have a program we're working on in house to be able to make this happen. And also the rural areas that don't get a lot of resources. So a lot of the rural areas, especially around here, and I'm sure around you, wherever, everywhere, tend to have less resources. And
Yep.
so instead, our goal is to get clothing to them, do events and those kinds of things, have a big pop-up event with our refitted shuttle bus where people are able to come on and shop, not really shop. They're getting free clothes, but shop for clothing they want. Additionally, on top of that, with that, we're going to have our wish list program attached to it, where people can request certain items before the event, before we go out there, and then we'll do our best based on our donations to be able to get that individual the very specific item they need. So we've already hired our mobile micro closet manager, which is great. She's been helping us finish the rest of the fundraising and also get the shuttle bus and everything refitted. So the idea is to meet people where they're at. So go to those that are disabled, go to those that are fire victims that just need a little encouragement, go and get them what they need rather than just saying, hey, good on you. Well, we're here for you. We're going to pray for you. We're going to do whatever for you. And then not actually make it happen. We want to make it happen. We want to make sure they get what they need in their time of distress when they're frustrated and stuff. So, but we're not quite there. we're about halfway done with the funding, and I'm sure we'll get over it to the full. We were able to do that with our microcloset program last year, so that it's great to be able to see what we've done and now have something to move forwards to for the next project. And then we have other projects in the works that I can't talk about yet, but we have some big things in the future for 2027, 2028.
Wow. Well, you're running an inspirational operation there, and you also have a podcast. So, how can people listen to your podcast, and what can they expect from it?
Sure. You can listen over on Spotify. Facebook is probably where the most people watch, and YouTube, all over the place. It's once a week. It comes out on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Our podcast is called the Community Cares Podcast. The idea behind it is to invite community leaders, different nonprofits, and different people that want to get their word out on what they're doing and why, and just kind of lift people up, because it's kind of hard in the nonprofit world sometimes. So we created this podcast 2.5 years ago. The idea was I don't know if you've ever been to like a resource fair where a bunch of nonprofits come together and they kind of just pass out information, maybe a
Yeah.
flyer, a pen, or whatever. And then that's how they get the word out for their nonprofit. Well, I'm like, well, this should just be a podcast. We should just have these people on our show and we could talk about it for half an hour and just get it out there, let people know what these people are doing and why. And that's going to be a good 30-minute conversation that will permanently be on the internet. So when they look up those people's nonprofit or smaller businesses that are trying to help people or those kinds of things, there's something physical on the internet that they can just them talking, those leaders in those nonprofits or businesses talking for 30 minutes about how they're being change makers. And that's very impactful. It's pre-recorded. And so we're able to get that out there to the people in need.
Great. And say the name of it one more time.
Community Cares Podcast.
All right. Yeah, I think a lot of my listeners for this podcast would probably be interested in yours, because a lot of them are running nonprofits or interested in starting one. So, thank you so much for doing that. Anyone that's listening right now that has clothes that they that don't fit anymore, they need to find a home for, what do you recommend that they do?
Well, if they're local here, I mean, being able to give them to Good Shepherd would be probably the best bet here in town. There's not a lot of nonprofits really doing what we're doing in the country, period. So now we've tried to look. There's not a lot. There are some, but not a lot. Most of them are attached to either additional nonprofits or whatever else, which is fine. But doing your research on your local community is going to be the key. So as you know, as you do research on what nonprofits are actually going to use, I mean, even certain nonprofits that sell clothing, don't ever donate your clothes to Goodwill. Don't do it. That's a bad plan. Those proceeds don't go to the people that need it most. That's just the reality. You need to be donating to local nonprofits that are really being change makers. We have Catholic Charities does a pretty good job. They feed a lot of the people downtown that are homeless. That money goes right back to the people in need most. So they do a pretty good job. But doing research, seeing
Yeah.
where people are actually getting help, and that, I mean, that's the same with everything, with politics, with everything in life. If you're
Yep.
ignorant, you probably will make the wrong call. So, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it
But
anyway.
whatever you do, don't throw it away.
Don't throw it
Right.
away. Yeah,
No.
there's good uses. Your clothes could have a new life with someone else. It really can, and
Yep.
help someone. It can help someone feel clean, look clean, and be clean. Crazy thought, right?
Yep. Well, thank you so much, Dave, for everything you're doing. Thanks for sharing your story, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Hey, well, thank you for having me on. It was a blast. I appreciate it a lot. Would love to invite you on our show at some point. So, and we can talk about ChicoBag and what you guys are doing. And yeah, I think it's really cool.
Awesome. Thank you.